Well, howdy y'all, welcome back to the channel. It is woodworking week, and so I think I'm going to take this week to do something a little bit different. So today, guys, I'm going to give you the 3 power tools that I would buy if I restarted doing woodworking. You know, many people think that I can't get into woodworking because you got to have the nice big tools, table saws, miter saws, planers, joiners, drill presses, all that kind of stuff. And believe it or not, all these tools I acquired like way later, after I started my woodworking business. And I've already went over this once in a way earlier video. I'll put a card right here, just so that way if you want to hear my story about it. But basically, just to make a long story short, me and my brother started a woodworking business with only 3 tools. And these were hand-me-down tools from my dad. And honestly, I would not choose any other tools to start out with than those. And so I'm going to give you the 3 of them now, because in woodworking there's 3 categories that you need. You need something to cut the wood, you need something to assemble the wood, and you need something to finish the wood. And so I took one power tool from each category and came up with the most elite list that I could come up with cheap, easy startup woodworking tools. So the first one is going to be the cutting category, and that is going to be a jigsaw. This is the thing that we started out with. We had an old, I think it was Black & Decker, jigsaw when we first started out, and then we bought a new one, but it was from Harbor Freight, and that one lasted us quite a long time. It wasn't until just recently someone gifted me a DeWalt jigsaw. But the reason I chose a jigsaw over a circular saw or anything like that, because they're about the same price. I think the circular saw is a little bit more. But the reason I went with the jigsaw is because with a jigsaw you can pretty much do anything. With a circular saw you can really just cut the wood, if you're making furniture or whatever. And you can rip down boards. But with the jigsaw you can do things like this, do different cutouts, like this acorn tea candle, or like the baby rattles that I made in an earlier video. And just things like that you can cut out. And you can also, what we used to do, we didn't do small items like this, we did furniture. And we would just cut our wood with a jigsaw. I would recommend definitely getting a speed square if you're going to want to cut it, because there was some times that because we didn't know what a speed square was at the time. But we would sit there and cut it, the line would be kind of jiggly and crooked and stuff like that. So I would recommend maybe getting a speed square with it. That way you can you don't have to have it. It just takes a lot more care, just making sure you're making the cut as straight as possible. But if you have a speed square, you just put the speed square there and you just run that along the speed square, and you got a perfect cut. But that way you can do both. So for the assembly category, I'd definitely just say a good old-fashioned drill. You can use the drill for a lot of different things, sort of like the jigsaw. You can drill and drive with it. Yes, you can get an impact driver, but the impact driver, it's not really good for drilling holes, where the drill can do both. The impact driver definitely makes it easier, but again, that was something that I bought like 3 or 4 years after me and my brother started the woodworking business. You can do so many things with drills. Drill would definitely be in the assembly category. And then for the finishing would definitely be, there's a lot of different sanders that you could choose from, but the one that I personally like the best, and obviously I'm pretty sure everybody else does too, is an orbital sander. When we first started out, we did not have an orbital sander. We actually had this old Ryobi plywood sander, the one with the square bases, and it worked, but it wasn't super efficient, especially for the furniture that we were making and stuff. It just kind of made it a little bit harder. And it just kind of vibrates, it's not like the orbital sander where it spins and stuff, but this is what we originally used. This is actually the original one that I still have, and it still works. I just don't use it as much as often since I bought the orbital sander. This is the orbital sander that I bought a year ago. I had one of these before. This is actually from Walmart. It was only $20. And it had a 1 year, it was 1 year or 2 year warranty. I can't remember which one it was, but anyway, it's good. It works really good, but it did die out right before the 1 year mark or the 2 year mark. I can't remember which one it was, and I was able to go up there and get a new one for free because I had a warranty on it. But you know, just buying a cheap $20 tool like this from Walmart. Would I recommend all Walmart tools? Probably not. I've never tested them, but at least for a sander, it's a sander. You know, it may not last as long as like a Makita or a DeWalt or something like that, but it still does, you know, the same thing. But yeah, definitely orbital sander. It just makes things super smooth. You know, you don't have to buy those big sheets of sandpaper. You can just buy the circle ones. Orbital sander is definitely the sander that I would choose. You know, you have belt sanders and things, but I would definitely say for all purpose, orbital sander. So there's many other power tools that I could have chosen, but I wanted to make sure that this list was cheap and also, you know, something that you can do, something you can use that's intuitive. It may not be the fastest, but it's something that you can do with different projects. They're all multi-purpose, you know, tools that you can use for different projects, not just furniture, not just small little decorative items like this, that can do it all. So these are my top three. These are the three tools that I actually started with, other than the orbital sander. I had the plywood sander before, but honestly, I love the way that we started out. You know, just, you know, use what you have. And these tools are cheap, you know, even if you buy them new. But I would recommend, you know, if you can find them at a thrift store, you can find them at, you know, yard sales, things like that. Obviously make sure they work. But I found a lot of tools. I actually have a Makita drill that I found at a yard sale. It came with like 2 batteries, the charger, all that, and it was like, I think he was asking $10. So I bought that, and I actually found this right here, this Makita mini circular saw at a thrift store for $10, I think, and it had 2 batteries, the charger, and then the tool. So I mean, you never know what you can find there. But just use what you got, use what you have. Like, don't go out and think that you need to spend money on a miter saw right away. Make money first, just get started. When you ever start making money, invest some of that money that you made and start, you know, buying more tools, because it will speed up your process. Like, it will speed up the time that it takes to make the stuff. Like, I love the miter saw, you know, I love all the other tools that I have in my shop. But these did not come, you know, I didn't go out and buy these when I first started out. These are like over years later. So please don't start expensive. Now if you have the money to go and do it, then by all means. But if you are just wanting to start out and just see how you like woodworking, I would definitely say go with those tools first. So these are the 3 tools that I would choose, but please leave in the comments the ones that you would choose if you had to start over woodworking. This will, you know, help people who are shopping for tools who maybe want to start woodworking. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like what you see, please don't forget to subscribe. I'd love to have you guys a part of this channel. We got a lot of great content coming out, so I wouldn't want you guys to miss those. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, keep swimming upstream.